Good afternoon. July 31st, 2023. My name is David Knox, and I have multiple system atrophy and a story about our trip to Europe. Now, first of all, I just want to say I'm happy to be back in the US of A. Europe is great, but nothing beats home. So I don't want to spend terribly too much time on here. I wanted to show some pictures and really to serve another to another end is what I want to show pictures. I want to show you what I encountered as a person with multiple system atrophy, a variation of P and C together. That's really, why you should not be afraid to do things like this. And it doesn't have to be Europe. I mean, it could literally be your backyard, the mall, the park by your house, whatever. Right? That's what I want to get to. So might get some flack from the family for putting one of our cruise pictures on there, but this is my family. My lovely wife, Susie, on the right-hand side. To her right, my left, is my youngest daughter, 11, Audrey. Audrey, myself, obviously, in the middle. My mother to my right, your left, and my oldest daughter, 18 years old, Sophia. So Sophia's also, she graduated high school with her CNA degree. She's in college for nursing, things like that. My wife's in the medical field. Audrey, don't know she's going to be it. I think that the medical field might work well. So still, though, might catch a little flack for putting pictures on here, but I want you guys to see the family. So just to show a few things, I have 2,300 videos that we've shared. I am by no means going to go through 2,300, but I just want to point out some key facts here. So, we did fly at nighttime from Chicago straight there to Barcelona, where one of the largest cruise ports in the world is. Very hard to sleep at nighttime. Up to 9:30, 10 o'clock our time, got there, and we were already, our clocks were off. So I will say I forgot all 4 flights actually. I forgot to pack my sleeping medicine, so that definitely did not help me. But the good news for somebody like me is I actually have Adderall. So even though I was tired when I woke up, I was actually pretty good to go. Okay, so one of the coolest things we saw, train stations. And I'm showing a lot of these pictures I'm going to show of outside. Is I'm actually wanting those of you that have MSA or Parkinson's, or even the caretakers, I'm really wanting you to pay attention to the ground. That's really what most of these videos are, to see what you're up against, right? So the ground on here is a train station, pretty flat, pretty accessible, no issues on this for somebody such as myself, right? And when I say somebody such as myself, I'm obviously talking about all of us that have MSA. So one place we were going, really cool place here, is Montserrat. If I'm saying that right, don't crucify me if I'm not. It's this really small religious place on the top of a mountain, which you can take a train or a cable car or a combination of the two. And it is really cool, right? It's way up there. I have never been on a cable car like this before. It's a long ride up there. Really, I mean, you can see the yellow one in the middle, how far this thing is. It's absolutely nuts. Pretty fun though. But anyway, when you get up there, long ride, it's absolutely stunningly beautiful, right? Looking down from just the first level, that's the view you got, right? Very nice. The cable car was very, very heavy, very level, did not sway, like hardly at all. Not like we see on these rides and amusement parks and things like that. Didn't happen. It was very nice. Okay, so obviously, if you don't want the cable car, then there is a train that comes up too. Very interesting taking that, which I got another picture later on. This is the top part. It's much more than this, but these are the first couple of pictures I took. This place in the middle of nowhere is what it comes out to be. Still, though, the walking is very level. Those are not separate concrete blocks on the sidewalk. That's all one piece of concrete. They just put a pattern into it, and that's what you got. That's what you got. You got to notice now is that they put a lot of these. As I'm switching here, they put a lot of these patterns on here, and which is okay. In the U.S., that's mainly all we do. But over here in Europe, they do a lot of other things. Like they want to keep the historical value. So it may not be complete pieces. It might be original cobblestone, which is very detrimental to our health and people that are susceptible to to falling, slip, tripping, and falling, things like that, right? And now, obviously, we were in. I believe it's still Barcelona. I'm not sure. I don't know. This is a cruise port. A lot of inclines, right? Descending, ascending, going up and down. Very smooth though. I'm not going to complain about this. That's just one of the bus stops. You start taking pictures again, looking more at the ground level. I don't know, it takes a second to get on here, but there are a lot of tripping hazards, and if you're someone in a wheelchair, getting through these beams, these posts and stuff, and getting over, I can see where that might be an issue, right? I could, but you wouldn't just cut across things like that and make your own path like we did, right? Another monument we went to, more of a museum up here on the right, but still though, right? Incline going to the right hand side. There are, so you see some holes in the pavement, concrete, nothing major that's going to get you. I will say I definitely had my trials and tribulations, if I can be biblical for a second, I guess. I definitely had my times. Certain things got me more than others, especially roads that were at an incline and decline. But one thing I definitely did was I made sure that I kept walking. I kept going, right? The trees coming out here, some of these have dirt in their pits, which you'll fall into, and some of them are over pushing up a concrete like this one, so you're going to hit your foot and fall over, trip forward. There is a lot of curbs in Europe, just an absolute lot of curbs. I mean, a lot of cobblestone like this, right? This appears to be just one piece. Those are not individual pieces, FYI. But a lot of other small cities and towns we went to did have individual cobblestone, which could be a crazy issue, right, to get to. Again, more walking, pretty flat. One of the ports we're at too, life was pretty good, right? So now if I can start scrolling a little bit here, because I don't want to take forever to do this. And where did we go? Well, that's where we went. So if you see the red dots, right, Paris, Venice, passed through Milan, Marseille, Barcelona, Palma, Rome, Naples, Florence, Pisa, the entire Pisa, things like that. Right. 1 week was a cruise. A couple of days before that, Barcelona, and then a week and a couple of days after that was going around Europe. So I will say, if I pass it, but Montserrat, if I'm even saying that correctly, Montserrat up here, right, we decided to climb up to the top. And as soon as you get up there, now this picture is going to get you. I said, oh man, we've got to climb up this thing. And I don't know if I have a dedicated picture to it, but up at the top of these mountains, there's another train car that takes you up there. You can walk around. They say it's like 40 minutes, but if you see forward, this train's coming down at a 65-degree angle. 65 degrees, and this is us going up it, looking that you can't even see the ground below you. It's such an angle to get up to the secondary part, the summit, I guess, as we would call it. So it is a very interesting trip up there. Thank goodness for the rail cars. But still, when you get up there, right, and I don't really have a 360, I don't think I have a 360 video photo of it. I don't think so. But this is the landing part you get to. You got some stairs. There's not much wheelchair access up here. I don't think you'd want to try it. And then you got your choice, if you want to walk up another 3 inclines, to get, this is the top of our part of the summit. And this is a panoramic, really probably not a good picture, but we're way up here. That's right at a mile up in the air, a mile high stadium, 5,000 feet, give or take, where they have a lot of marble and granite, things like that, and into the sides of the earth. But, that was a chore to get up there. And one thing I've said before is, I can go upstairs and inclines pretty well. Coming down ramps and inclines and stairs is really bad, and yet I still did it, right? Took my time. It was hot, crazy hot. But it was well worth it. Okay, so I mean, look at the incline on this thing. Absolutely nuts to be climbing up with things like that. So again, this is that famous church, I think in Barcelona too. I think it is, right? The ground is pretty level. I mean, I'm just being comparative here. Pretty level. So anyway, other parts we get to. What else we got here? Trying to get after our Pisa. Right, the entire Pisa. Very interesting. going to the Leaning Tower Pizza and you have a condition where you're feeling drunk already, or you act drunk, and yet you're going to go up a tower of 200 and something, I don't know, 200 steps or whatever, and it's leaning at 4 degrees. It was leaning at 6, now it's at 4. That in itself is a conquest to do. That is very hard. And what makes it even harder is not only is the building leaning at 4%, but now you're leaning because of your condition. The stairs are not cut and done evenly, believe it or not, different widths and angles. And also to my belief, the stairs have been worn down, so even though they're marble or granite, the middles of the stairs have been worn down so much. It's like walking on a rounded stair hole that's different for every stair every time. It's I don't say suicidal, but it is absolutely nuts to walk up this thing. Yet we did. Somebody's got a foot picture here, so if it shows anything, this might be the top. That's to see inside of it. But it's way up there, and it's leaning. That's not for the faint of heart, right? You've got to want to go up this thing. The look on my face of my kids after doing this is pretty interesting. But the stairs, right in between her feet, more or less the middle, they're all rounded down, grooves and different conditions. It's very hazardous, but it's a building, right? And how many years it's been up there, and it's great views, and definitely took the wind out of me climbing up this thing. So that was probably the hardest thing I had to do. I think it was 200 some steps. Don't quote me. It's either 120 or 220, but it's up there. Well worth the effort, well worth the time. I think I stopped technically once to catch my breath. But still, just a great experience. Stairs made of granite and marble are very slippery. I want you to remember that. Very slippery. Not good. This is the videos I got from, I posted a short on there, people with msa versus not. And someone gave me a comment. It's like, well, maybe I'm not on, this person is commenting is older. I'm not saying old, but older, like my mom's age or something. And she's like, maybe I'm not in the in crowd and I'm not cool or something, but I thought your video was for educational and not making fun. Like, you have to make fun of yourself with this disease, or it's going to rot you from within. You got, if you're not laughing somehow, some way, this disease rots you from within. So, I had a video where I'm saying, this is normal people with no, neurodegenerative disease, right? And then I had another video. I saw these two knuckleheads out here just going to get their stuff together. They're not bad kids. They're just learning how to row. But the concept was professionals versus amateurs, and that's the difference between normal people and people like us with msa, the bad rowing. So, it's just interesting how people take offense to everything, but you can't laugh at yourself, right? That's the best form of humiliation, is being able to laugh at yourself, and it's for a good reason. Those goes with the shirt. Obviously, me and my wife, that's a joke with what we're doing, but the shirt, I made a couple of these shirts, msa, very bad. We're not, 1 star on like Pinterest or whatever. I like those shirts. I wear them when I can, just to promote things that happen, right? To promote msa, so people can see, like, hey, what is that? Because they don't know what it is. But it does help out. And then we get to Rome, the Vatican, Colosseum. Again, the streets are pretty good. They are ups and downs, inclines and declines going up here, these ramps. The whole street is a ramp. So, you got to be careful with these things. Obviously, I didn't climb a lot of things you see here at stairs. Nobody's going up there, but I was taking pictures. There's not a lot of manual stuff you have up here, right? This is a very good part of the stairs, right? You got the street, which I was walking in most of the time, and then you start to get to the cobblestone or the original road work that they want to keep on the left-hand side. I'm not saying that's original, but it's once you get to Paris and things like that, once you get out from the inner parts of the cities, you get a lot of original stuff that's still there. So you get a lot of watching your steps, right? And then you got a lot of people out here too, cars, traffic. I mean, look at the roadway. Those stones, I believe those are original. They look like it to me. Maybe not yesterday original, but that's not solidly paved. It's not one piece of concrete. And, every step you take is a different step. That's the hard part about this, is every step you take is, you don't know if it's flat, angled right, angle left, angle forward, angle back, and then the next step you don't know. And on top of that, the stones move. I don't know how many steps covers, pieces of concrete we stepped on that are moving on top of that, right? Is the step flat? Is the cobblestone flat? Is it curved? Is it rounded? Is it triangle shape? It's the weirdest thing walking in Europe. I mean, because they're trying to keep the historical part. I get that. I'm not faulting them for that, right? Obviously, Dave Knox here, myself, is enjoying some fan in a very hot room with some water jet spray on it. Again, you can see the roadway, not too bad. Definitely for those of us that have autonomic issues with which I'll show you a picture, hopefully. It's something you got to be careful about. So the tour of the Coliseum was very nice, very flat. I mean, when they bring you in, it's very flat concrete, does really good. If it ever loads, I don't know why Google does this for, but there you go. Kind of, sort of. It's very flat, right? The whole thing was pretty good in the Coliseum. Not much to really worry about. Again, if you're in a wheelchair, it's going to be really crowded, right? So that's really the biggest issue. There you go. Took my 360 camera. Again, flat down, that's where we were, and then we're up on top. It's still pretty flat. Had to buy a hat because I was burning. It was way too hot. But if you look down at the ground, it's pretty good. Of course, it's my 360 camera, but it's not too bad for people that have conditions, right? Just not MSA or whatever. Good food, good things. We'll keep scrolling. Find some other things. Then we get into the Vatican, I believe this next part is. I believe it has to be, because I'm going to go out on a limb here and snitch on myself in a second. Right, here goes the internal part. Again, 360 camera. The grounds are pretty flat, right? Not bad. Of course, again, there's stairs absolutely everywhere, right? So if you're not looking down, you shouldn't be looking down. Yeah, you need to look down. That's the whole part. But the insides of these are really nice, very beautiful. The ground is pretty good. You might have like these little over here, these little I don't know what they are. That's for the ropes, but you have squares about that size all over, and they move when you step on them. Like, I don't understand how they're wobbly and you're walking through there, but just an absolute beautiful place to be, right? Can't walk everywhere, but very crowded. I don't envy anyone who comes here on a wheelchair. That I know, and I'll be brutally honest with you. I'm not gonna lie to people. And then you get towards somewhere over here towards the Sistine Chapel. I'm saying that right? Here you go. Get myself in trouble, but I'm supposed to have your cameras on. Everyone's got their camera. It makes no sense. Why are you going to do that to me for? Can't have your camera on, but yet everybody has their camera on. And why am I not getting this thing turning? I don't know how I can adjust this. But anyway, here's one of the pictures over here. I don't know. My camera I don't have this set up right for my computer to look at these pictures, but very interesting place, very detailed oriented. St. Peter's Square, if that's correct. This is where I believe everyone gathers for lots of things religious. But again, the ground is really nice. But this is not one piece of concrete. This is, I'm not going to say original, but it's a lot to trip on. A lot of spacing in between those rocks, put it that way. So if you're a person with MSA or Parkinson's or any walking issue, I definitely would not wear heels to a place like this. You're going to regret that, right? This is no heels. All right, nobody wear heels to this. I don't have that issue, but ladies, it's a quick way to fall. Okay, that's just for sure. We keep going for some other places, right? We went to a castle in Barcelona. I'm not sure. I just wanted to see a castle. Castles are great. Something for my daughter to go see too. She like skeletons. Yeah, let's go see skeletons, right? And mummies and old corpses and stuff like that. Interesting place to go. But still, though, we went with the kids and they enjoyed it. Now this one had some stairs, and again, it was just crazy hot. All these things are real, by the way. Nothing here is fake, but foundations, and there's some tight places. You know, we're walking on plexiglass, and you know the stairs to get up and to get down. So I got the fan in my back pocket, but you know you can see right there the stairs that go down are pretty, you know, pretty iffy, and it's all concrete. And you don't know the shape of the stair and how it's been worn as you're walking. And this isn't bad, right? It's not bad. It's pretty flat. It's, you know, again, just trying to tell people the top of the castle is pretty flat, really nice, and even no issues there. Some videos for drinking that I had on that robot on the cruise ship. And then we fly to, after we get off the ship, right, then we fly to Paris, France. And, you know, it's interesting there. So I think this is Paris, I'm not really sure. Yeah. Oh, again, Paris is really nice. I mean, the ground is pretty level. I'd say of all the places and cities we went to in Europe, the worst place to walk would have been Barcelona. Man, and I'm not saying that like it's bad, like it's poor or anything like that, but the streets are like, they try to keep the originality, so the original artwork to it and decor, and it's, oh my man, it's a lot of cobblestone. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So get to the Eiffel Tower, right? And we got to climb the Eiffel. Who goes to Paris and doesn't climb the Eiffel Tower, right? Come on, guys. So we climbed the Eiffel Tower. I got pictures here somewhere. That was actually, this is the day before we missed our cruise. Here's a good 360 video. We took another cruise because we missed one. We're going to do the Eiffel Tower later. You know, we're on these sightseeing boats, pretty big ones, looking at lots of things. And I just want to show you, that's what you got to walk up. Not only are you a moving boat, of course the boat's big, it's wide, it's heavy, it's not shaking like what you think. It's not a gondola for sure, but it is, got to get your balance. The boat's kind of oval shape. It's kind of like a hump, like a speed bump shape. So one side of the boat you're kind of leaning this way, the other side you're kind of going that way. And I think that's for water purposes, you know, in my own opinion. But that was pretty interesting to have that. You know, again, the whole Europe is a bunch of bridges and ramps and stairs. I mean, good luck finding elevators all over the place because you're not going to find them. All right, that's the way it is. And of course, we got some music behind us, but the Eiffel Tower, right? That's what you go for. And they took some great pictures. So I will say, I don't know if I posted any. I don't think I posted any of these, but we saw this and we just had to get a couple pictures for a lot of reasons. And those of you watching this video still to this point, you know why we took these pictures. Things like that, right? And then we got pictures outside in the streets of Paris. I mean, it's a lot of stuff in the way. I mean, it's busy, it's cramped, it's narrow, things like that. I personally wanted to go to this one right here. It's called the Arc de Triomphe, or the Arch of Triumph Arch. In World War I, they marched right through the middle of that when they liberated Europe. Since after that, nobody's walked through the middle of that. The militaries and stuff like that. There's a tomb in the unknown that kind of technically is supposed to symbolically keep people from walking through it. Just an absolute beautiful view up here. Right, not only do you see everything else, but it's just great views. Right, anything you're trying to see up here. So that one had elevators. That was not all the way up, but it did have elevators. It was very nice. Very beautiful. Again, you can get your whole view of Eiffel Tower from here too. Just another. I think that's on the west suburbs, what we call the suburbs. You get more stairs, more. Again, you start to see the bricks in Paris, bigger, different, not more square, but more rectangular. So you got to adjust your walking when you're coming through these things. Of course, we're on the Eiffel Tower. Finally, get up there the next day. Things happen. I'm not going to criticize the tour company, but they made a change and we didn't get the confirmation of it. We took a bullet train took a flight from the end of our cruise in Barcelona to Paris. And then one of my life's goals, things I always wanted to do, was go through the mountains, the Alps. I've always wanted to go through the Alps. So that's where this really came from, was I wanted to fly to Europe to go through the mountains. And we made a pretty good trip of it. So bullet train was really nice. No complaints about that at all. I mean, it took a lot more time to flying because again, I wanted to go through the mountains. That's where this really came from. So things like that, right? But it wasn't bad. There's a lot of pictures of the mountains, just FYI. But getting to Venice, our last stop, was interesting, right? They have all these boats. Obviously, Venice. If anyone knows about Venice, it's built on it was a sinking water, and you got water buses, water taxis. Still don't understand what's the difference. We found out the hard way. The big taxis are not too bad. There is some shaking. They move pretty quickly. They got some pretty big jets on them, propellers, but not propellers, jets to maneuver these things in place. Right, we got into a water taxi like this, a lot of mahogany wood, it looks like, and those move a lot. And getting onto the boat and getting off was really, really hard to do. That was tough. Again, the inner courtyards where they have a lot of shopping, not bad. Right, this is not separate pieces of stone. This is one piece of stone where they make, they put the patterns into it, make it different. But you're not going anywhere on here without going up ramps and stairs. I did see one or two people in a wheelchair, and they were carrying them up the stairs in a wheelchair and carrying them down. I mean, with their weight. Wow, that's crazy. I'm sure I wouldn't care. I'm sure that person didn't care too, but you can't get around the city unless you want for like here, taxi to taxi, very specific places for taxis for wheelchairs. You got really two sets of stairs. I think one is for people who can go up and down stairs, and the other one's for their longer stairs, more shallow. But I did notice the bridges usually had two sets of stairs that kind of separated themselves. One easy, one hard, in my own opinion, right? And then you got some. I was looking up at the infrastructure here, but because that's why I teach telecommunications. But again, some of these are narrow. And your wheelchair will fit 90% of these if you have a wheelchair. Obviously, you're not going to get across the water with a wheelchair, so you got you can't get picked up in a wheelchair with a water taxi at any spot a normal taxi can get to. You got to go to specific taxis. That's the hard part, right? Whatever it is, the square. I can't remember what they call it. Not bad. Right? It's very flat, very nice. No issues with that. Again, you probably have more issues with people than anything else. Cutting the stone, right? It's where they're putting them on the buildings and the churches, resurfacing them and things like that. That famous bridge that everybody wants to see in Venice. You see them on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that all the time. Right? Those are the boats. You see down there, they wobble. Let me tell you, they look like they're made for speed, but yet they use them for taxis. So things like that. You just got to take things in hindsight. It's a very interesting thing. There's a good picture of it, right? Gondola versus taxi. Now, we didn't take any gondolas on this one. I'm not sure we didn't even give it a second thought. We've taken many gondolas before in the States, but I'm not sure I would have been able to get on and off of a gondola now. I did a couple years ago, but I'm not sure I could do that now. So those bigger taxis you see here on the right, that's in front of the gondola, past it, those are the main ones. They do really good, no issues with that. And then we went to the beach, and I didn't even notice this until my wife pointed it out to me. She said, "Oh, look at your feet." I'm like, "Oh, they're okay." And I look down, and you can just see the difference in shades of the purple versus my normal skin. So I've burnt my feet before, and my feet would get bright red. Not what you're thinking, not like a marker red, but that's clearly purple, and like I've been beat up. But that's the problem you have with, look at my nails getting scratched too. Like I don't even know how that happened. That's the problem with MSA is rather than Parkinson's, it hits the autonomic, and it's a tough thing to deal with. Again, my feet felt so swollen, and they're not, but they felt so swollen, and kind of like when you're unswelling, your swelling's going down in your body. That's really what it feels like. I mean, it didn't bother me at all, but that's what it was. I can tell you that you can't see here, it's here in the middle. the jellyfish in Italy, the jellyfish in Venice, Italy, hurt just as much as they do in Key Largo, Florida, off south of Miami. So, again, always managing to walk into jellyfish, and I don't know why that is, but hey, it is what it is. I had some other things on here. I got some type of random weird rash. I don't know, very small one. You could probably wouldn't be able to see it if I showed it to you, but things like that. Interesting how these things work out. And I just, again, I wanted to show you guys a picture. Here you go. We'll end it on this one. My youngest kid's that she's in there laying down on a boat. But we'll put this one up here just for the fun of it. But I just wanted to show you, it's not a video about gloating or anything like that. My mother's the one that helps with everything, and God bless her. Thankful to have her. But the point I want to say is, you can't not do things just because you have a disease. And that's really where I had a video before about what you can and can't do. Like, you can't just stop. Right? It was raining there for a brief second in some rain, and I either started jogging as much as I could, or I was going to get soaking wet, and I decided to just jog slowly, and I did. I'm not comparing me to you, you to me, or you to I. I'm just saying you got to try to do something. You can't stop your life just because of a disease that's going to kill us in a couple of years or a few years. You can't. You can. That's on you. I'm just saying there's other ways to do things. There's other ways to get around this. And you got to try. You go do things, and when you hit a brick wall, you find a way around it. That's what it comes down to. Right? I'm not saying everyone has the opportunity to do this or go where we did or anything like that, but you have the opportunity to get outside and do things, to walk outside, to see the sun, to open the windows, right? You have the opportunity to stand up and open the window to let fresh air in. If that's all you can do, good for you. Right? You have the opportunity to go get the mail yourself instead of waiting for your kids to get the mail. You have an opportunity to go to the fridge and make yourself a cheese and egg mayonnaise sandwich like I love, rather than having somebody else do it for you. You do. So it's just the little things that we kind of take for granted, right? A lot of us, unfortunately, and with good reason, have a horrible disease, and we just stop doing what we're doing. Poor me, and we want to be cautious and make sure we don't hurt ourselves. Cool. That's great. If that's you, I have nothing negative to say about that at all. I just have to say, going out there for almost 2.5 straight weeks of nothing but walk, climb, I actually felt pretty good. Obviously, I still have my condition, my disorder, but what the doctor said, you're not going to feel any better with your life. You're physically not going to feel good if you don't exercise, and you have a big issue with exercising with your disease. So even though I wasn't doing jumping jacks and running and basketball, I still walked and climbed a lot of stairs, right? And I did feel good. I was beyond tired. I was beyond exhausted, but we got there. One thing I'll say, and then I'll end it, is, I've noticed on this trip really hit home where if you're on a boat, a train, a cable car lift, anything that's moving, like any mode of transportation besides a car, even with airplanes, they still shake and still turbulence and just updraft normal with the wings. But I noticed when I got off the planes, when I got off the boats for a lot, and the trains, my world was upside down when it came to walking and having my senses together. If I feel drunk now, which you can probably tell by my speaking, I'm having some issues today, tired. If I had issues before with talking, walking, standing, as soon as you get off these planes and boats and southern trains, you just become like 2 or 3 times drunk. It's crazy, the hangover effect. That's somebody like me with MSA. You just hit a brick wall as soon as you step off the vessel of your transportation, and the shaking, the head Okay, put words in my mouth. The dizziness and stuff like that, it comes at you hard and quick as soon as you get off of something like this. That's moving. So my cautious statement for you would be to be careful if you do things like boating and airplanes and trains when you get off of them. It's gonna catch you quick. I mean, it lasted for hours. I had to calm down, and I mean, adding more caffeine, cafe lattes, it's our favorite now. That did not help. I was like, oh, okay, I just need some caffeine. I'll push through it. Yeah, caffeine sucked. It was even, when I got off the airplane and the trains and boats, it was even worse. So, if you're already going to do things like this, just be careful when you get off. Not getting on, getting off is one thing, but the effect it has on each person like us with MSA is very different. And my dizziness, my blood pressure, my heart rate, my shaking, my inability to stay upright and stuff, oh man, it took a hit as soon as we got off these things for probably a couple of hours, and didn't calm down for sure. But just be cautious. That's it. And again, long video. I don't expect you guys to have made it to this point. And if you did, I appreciate you. But you can do it, and you will do it. The choice is up to you. Obviously some of us can't do things, and that sucks. That's that's what this disease is. It's unfair. So, but still though, it's the little things. Maybe you don't want to get up anymore and walk to the fridge or something, but you might try to after something like this, right? It's little steps to get going. You got to get yourself going in order to get going, right? Baby steps to big steps. Most people with Parkinson's can actually get a halfway normal life if they just keep moving, exercising, boxing, water aerobics. Somebody with MSA, same thing for us. We just have more issues with autonomic, and it hits us in a more major way. So, yeah, we have issues too, right? I'm not going to say it's easy, but you have the choice of you want to get up and maybe fall down or just stay down, right? Do you want to stay on that couch the whole time, or do you want to actually get up and knowing there's a risk of falling and hurting yourself? I can't answer that for you, but I'm absolutely grateful that I did everything I could, and I didn't have an opportunity here where I really stopped and gave up. I mean, I got tired and ended some things early, but I still went and did everything we wanted to do. So you can do the same things too. You just have to get that mindset, which is very hard to change. Get that mindset and go. Try to start small and go for it. Yeah, you're going to fall. Hopefully not down the stairs, right? But whatever it takes. I had a cane with me the whole time, a walking cane. So first time that's ever happened, and it helped. But you got to remember, if you're like in my position where you don't necessarily need a wheelchair or a walking cane, don't rely on it. Don't think of it as a necessity. You might need it, but don't rely on it, right? And I'm sure my wife knows it, but she was walking behind me a lot. My kids and mom and stuff. There was a lot of times on this trip I picked up my cane and just held it and walked with it. I wasn't using it because my back and things was hips starting to hurt because I was trying to compensate with that to use it when I didn't need to use it necessarily. Is it good to have it? Yeah. Is it good to use it every step? Sure. I didn't need it, but it was nice to have. So, if you're not in a position like myself, definitely, use it for when you need it, but don't rely on it until you absolutely have to rely on it, right? Keep yourself going. Otherwise, I appreciate you. Love you guys to death. And I'll have some more information videos explaining a few things. I got a whole list I have on my flights. I wasn't really able to upload a lot of things because of the horrible signal in Europe. They're advanced in a lot of things, but nationwide, continent-wide Wi-Fi, like strong 5G, no, they're not. They suck really bad. They're really good back 10 years ago, but not now. So otherwise, I would have posted a lot more and showed a lot more. But I will get some stuff out this week, start popping them off. I got a few videos about some treatments that are out there, and my stem cells is next week. So early Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday. So I started physical therapy this week, a couple more doctor appointments, and Mayo's going to get pushed back. I'm going for stem cells first up in northern in Illinois. So I got a lot of videos I get out this week, but love you guys to death. I appreciate you. If you find it useful, please share, like, subscribe. The sharing is really the one thing I care about more than anything else. Sharing the content, saying it to somebody, say, hey, he can do it, you can do it, or why don't we try this, right? Like, or please, guys and gals, ask me, how did you do this? How did you compensate? What did you pay? Or what did you use? I will answer things, right? My videos to help us. Obviously, not really to help me. My videos aren't for me. They're for you. I don't like making videos. I don't like talking to people. I don't like showing my face if I don't have to. But I have this overwhelming feeling that I need to put stuff out there, right? Because there's only a few of us that are making videos or trying to do things like about what is normal life with MSA. So this is life with MSA. Again, I'm 2.75 years into this, and this is what it looks like, thankfully for me. But I appreciate you. I'll definitely see you guys shortly in another video. You have a good one. Thank you.